up? Oh, do we have so much to talk about? Can you hear me? Is this thing working? Delco Steve says yes. And I know it's working, but I can't hear it. That's a little bit better. There he is.
There's no music playing.
Huh?
There's no music playing.
How?
I mean, I don't hear any music.
That is so weird.
Yeah, I heard it originally, but now it went away.
You heard it originally, but it's not now?
Yeah, like the na-na-na started, and then it didn't go on.
It's still in my headphones.
Nope, not through mine.
Based on the comments, I'm thinking that people are saying the same thing. Yeah, you can still hear it.
Yeah. I don't know.
Oh, there you go. All right, well, whatever. Here, let me see.
Nope. I got nothing.
You hear that?
No.
How can you not? Can you hear me?
Yeah, clear as day.
I don't know, man. What's up, Delco Steve?
Dude, it's been a hell of a week.
I can hear the music. See, they can hear everything. It's you. Can you not hear me?
I can hear you clear as day.
Now you're muted. Now I can't hear you. What is going on?
What is happening?
What is going on? All right. Could people hear Delco Steve and I couldn't? I don't know why any of this would be going on. I literally could just hear Delco Steve. Can everybody else hear Delco Steve? No?
How about now?
No, I can't hear you.
Jesus Christ.
What the hell is going on? It's all good. Well, what does it mean it's all good? No, there's no AirPods. They're upstairs. Earlier today, Delco Steve, you can hear me. I had an AirPod in my pocket. And I don't know, I activated it in my pocket so I couldn't hear anything because it took over. Let me just see if the audio is fine. But can you hear Delco Steve? External headphones? Yeah, I mean, I don't know. So Delco Steve, try again. Can anybody hear Delco Steve? You can hear Delco Steve? Now I can hear you.
Oh, you got me?
There we
go. I got the sound now.
You started this whole thing by saying you couldn't hear the music.
Correct.
You weirdo. What's up, dude?
Dude, it's been a hell of a week. All
right, so quickly, before we get to the Eagles, and I think this is going to end soon, but the whole time change, if you have young children, in particular this time, so in their bodies, it's still 8:17. So my kids progressively have gotten from lights out at 8 to 8:30 to it's 8:45, and I'm like, yo, you guys got to go to sleep. Then you throw the spring forward, and it's 9:30, 9:45, and they're like, you're trying to get them to go to bed. They're not used to going to bed. Yeah, so my wife's like, well, they still go to bed 8:30. And I'm like, so we're going to sit up here for an hour fighting with them to go to bed. They're not going to go to bed. So I was able to get them down. Now that it's Wednesday, everybody's pretty much asleep by 9 o'clock, which isn't bad, but it was hell, man.
I'd give it to you for 4 days. That's pretty good.
Not bad at all, but they're also zombies in the morning. So they're normally up between 6 and 7, depending. So now they're going to bed at 10 o'clock. And we got to get them up by 7 to eat breakfast and the
that doesn't matter what time you go to bed. You still have to be up at the same time.
Total zombies. There you go. You still hear the music now? People want to hear the music. Just leave it up the whole night.
Just be vibing.
Do you like my light? So I have all the lights. I
love the new setup. I like the black background.
So all this is the same thing as before, except I have this light. I bought this ring light. I'll take a picture of it and send it to you. But it is, so I have the camera in the middle of it. I guess I could stop it, and that would help people are still hearing it bleed through. So it's this ring light and the camera. I got this webcam too. Nope. So yeah, so it's it's a good camera and it's a good light and it looks really
it looks
good.
Great. It looks like we actually know what we're doing for once.
Unless you watch the beginning of the show, then
I didn't say it sounded like. I said it looked like.
True. Well, you're the one that screwed it up.
Yeah, I'll take the L. That's fine.
Anyway, yeah. So you texted me after Milton Williams signed, and we all.
Oh yeah, look at that.
We all thought he was going to make some money. But like, man, he's making some money, and realistically, it's really a 2-year contract. But it's big money for those 2 years. And like, I was thinking about this. I think Milton Williams is a good player. He's got the potential to be a Pro Bowl player. Now he's going to see more snaps. He had 47% of the snaps last year, which was second most from defensive tackles to Jalen Carter. So he had 10% more snaps than Ojimo and Jordan Davis. Yeah. So like, he's ready for that next step. And like, is he a Pro Bowl player? I think he's got the potential. Let's see what he does playing 60% of the snaps. I was talking to a friend of mine who covers, he's a radio guy from Boston. And so he's asking me about it. And I just told him, like, nah, he outgrew his role here, right? Like, he's a starting caliber defensive tackle.
100%.
He's not a rotational guy. He's a starter. He's a really good starter. Now, is he a Pro Bowl? Is he an All-Pro? We're going to find out. But there's a 0% bust potential here. He's a good player. They paid a lot of money, but he's a good player.
Yeah, is he going to be? He's going to be 100% serviceable player. Like, I'm not saying that like derogatory of him, obviously, but like, how does he live up to that contract? Like, he's the third highest paid D tackle. I can name 5 off the top of my head that I would take from before him.
Yeah. It's all about, like, you have the teams that have all this free agent money and they need players. And did you see New England? They can't get anybody unless they're overpaying everybody. Chris Godwin turned down $30 million a year. DK Metcalf didn't want to go there. So listen, the guy can play. So if you have the cap money.
Right. And like you said, it's a 2-year deal. It's not going to burn them down the line. Like, it turns out to be a 2-year deal, so it's not going to really burn them down the line.
Right. Yeah. Like, if it's not worth it in year 3, they cut them. They have some dead cap. Not a big deal. But yeah, like anything that comes out, and you know me with these insiders, how much I hate them. And the new thing that everybody's doing this year, and I just want to wrap my hands around their neck, is in every tweet, deal negotiated by, and then they'll have the agent's name. Like Schefter does it, Rapshi does it, some of the other guys do it. I'm sorry. And I know the average person doesn't care about this. I do. Like, you're putting that tweet out there for information for people that follow you, that care about what you're tweeting out. There's not one person out there that cares who the agent was that negotiated the deal. Rap Sheet and Schefter each copy and pasted the same exact text message and put it out there about the same player. It was the exact same thing, the exact wording, the exact everything, negotiated by such and such. So these loser agents just give it to Rap Sheet or Schefter or whoever, and then they just copy and paste it on their iPhones, put it in Twitter, boom, and then they tweet it. So, like, shut up. I don't care.
I mean, I'd be interested if it was, like, off the wall, like, who negotiated it. Like, great. But if it's just their agent, then why do I need to know? I know who, like, the big name guys, I know who their agents are.
Right.
And probably 50% of them are Drew Rosenhaus.
Right. Yeah. I mean, like, all right. Like you had said, if this was a Juan Soto deal where it's breaking records, or like, but you know what? Like, honestly, if you're a reporter, you should be reporting what people care about. Nobody cares about that. It's self-serving, and it's what got them where they are. That's what they are. They're pawns for the entire machine. And God bless them. Schefter makes a lot of money. And by the way, Schefter today was complaining about Aaron Rodgers, and he's tired of, he wants him to just make a decision. Oh, sorry, Shefty. You want him to make a decision. Well, it's his agent's job, and you kiss all their ass. It's his agent's job to try to get the most money that he can. So if that means that he's going to play the Steelers against the Giants and the Giants against the Steelers and try to bring Minnesota into the conversation. And
I need him to go to Minnesota.
Oh, that would be great, man.
I need the Brett Favre arc.
I'd be fine with Pittsburgh. The only way he goes to the Giants is if the Giants are the only team that's left standing.
Correct.
And they're willing to pay he's looking for 40 or 45 million a year, I think. And the Steelers were like, oh, we thought you'd be a little bit cheaper than that. So this is a negotiation thing. That's what I don't understand why Schefter's annoyed. What do you think? He's just going to take whatever their offer? Like, no, they're going to try to play this out. They're going to get the Vikings involved. They're going to use you, Schefter, to get other teams to think that there's interest from other places, right? Like, you're a pawn. You're used like that. Anyway, so the word tonight, A.J. Dillon gets signed by the Eagles as a backup running back. I know a lot of people, including I saw someone in the somebody in the chat, Andrew, had said he likes the move for the Birds. I mean, he's not very good. He's in under 4 yards a carry, right? Like 4.1 whatever carry. Like, I'm fine with it. I don't think he's making a lot of money. He's a backup running back. If something happens to Saquon, this isn't a guy that can step in and be your every down lead back. So, hey, he hasn't played in a while.
This is the true question, though. I'm actually curious about this.
I forgot he was in the league too.
Oh, I was talking about him. Who's got bigger quads? These two, because they were doing the Quadzilla.
Oh yeah,
thing
for
a few
sure.
Years back.
Yeah, like listen, I'm all, you know me, Delco Steve. I love the big back that can run between the tackles. Isn't that what Eagles fans love? Oh, you need the big back. So if you're gonna have a run heavy offense, Shipley. Like, if you're not sold on him or you need a third running back, you need a third running back. I'm fine with that. Yeah, like, don't bring in an undrafted free agent. They may use a draft pick on a running back. Dillon may not be on this team. Does he have guarantees? I couldn't imagine he has a lot of money guaranteed.
If he's on this team, they really don't want Saquon to score from the 1 yard line. That's what it tells me. Because it's like, oh, we're going to use Jalen Hurts, and then we're going to use the guy that can only gain a yard.
A 250-pound running back, yeah. Well, so, like, that was the big. So they actually added a player in A.J. Dillon, and for me, it's like, does he make the squad? Yeah, he probably makes the squad. I don't know if he's a lock. I don't know what kind of money they gave him.
I can't see it being big
$1.5 million
whatsoever.
I was
gonna say any more than 2, I'm shocked.
This looks like a Rashard Penny signing, where everybody's going to talk it up, not realizing this guy hasn't been good for a while. Rashard Penny did nothing in Philadelphia. We talked about him for I don't know how long. It's like, oh, this is going to be the week. They break him out. So, and just real quick, big picture, and then we can talk about some of the signings. I'm really surprised at the reaction, and I don't know the percentage of the fans. I don't know if this is a vocal minority. I don't know if this is just social media complaining or whatever, but I am seeing a lot of it. Like, at what point do you give the team the benefit of the doubt heading into an offseason? At what point do you give Howie Roseman and Jeffrey Lurie the benefit of the doubt? Because I guess CGJG was kind of the thing that set everybody off, but people were already mad because some players had left. And, CGJG leaving was a surprise to everybody. But it looks like, at least it's being spun as, this is a money thing. They need to prepare for paying a lot of young players. And he was a guy that you could get rid of, and then you bring in somebody back that could be your starter on the offensive line. But, like, I'm not telling you have to like the moves. I'm not telling you that you have to enjoy free agency when all your players leave. And you know what? Like, CGJG was a really good player. He was. I thought he was a big part of the success of this Eagles defense. But we're coming off a Super Bowl. We're coming off a second Super Bowl victory in 8 years. We're coming off of 2 Super Bowl appearances in 3 years. They have the number 1 defense in the league. They have an unbelievable offense. They have talent all over the place. Part of the reason why you're not paying any of these guys is you already have players that are ready to step in. They haven't missed on high draft picks in a number of years. Like, look at this freaking team. If there was ever going to be a time, Delco Steve, that this team and Howie Roseman and Jeffrey Lurie gets the benefit of the doubt, you would think it would be right now. But they're not. People are mad as hell. I'm seeing Jeffrey Lurie being called cheap. And he's a billionaire? What does he need? Why is there this issue with cash? Like, let's give these guys the benefit of the doubt. They have a plan.
It's like I understand that you have to cut costs somewhere we always say the salary cap's fake. There is eventually a point where it comes into play. It's going to happen. So it has nothing to do with Jeffrey Lurie being cheap and not paying CGJG. But it's like, if he's going to be, I'm not saying this is the case, but if he's going to be a malcontent, because there were a lot of safeties that were just paid. Now he's and he was already underpaid on this contract because no one kind of like went after him. So if he's going to be a malcontent in the locker room, and then on top of that, it's like, oh, you're going to have to pay him more, then yeah, you make the move. I have no, like, yeah, I like CJGJ and I would want him on my squad. I have no problem with moving him. I don't understand the trade per se, though, more so than anything. It's like, as soon as I saw the name, I'm like, I knew who Green was. I knew he was a first round pick from a few years back.
I never heard of him before. Never heard of him.
I knew who he was from like college and going to the draft, but like I obviously didn't keep up with his career as a starting right guard for the Texans. But when I saw his like rankings and stats from last year, I was like, like how does that make sense for?
It's one of the worst in the league.
Right. He 131 out of 133 was what I saw.
You know why? You know why? Because however many years ago, it was Jordan Davis's draft. He went 2 picks after Jordan Davis. They obviously evaluated him. Maybe they considered him.
Right.
Like Jeff Stoutland, I'm sure, looked at his tape or whatever. And they're looking for a potential replacement at right guard. He is 6'4", 330 pounds, athletic, and he's going to be asked if he's the starter. He's going to compete, just like Mekhi Becton last year.
Yep.
This is almost like Mekhi Becton
2.0.
2.0. High draft pick, first round draft pick, disappointing. Moves on to gets a fresh start in a new organization, a new franchise, and it's a clean slate. Steve, I don't know if he's going to be good or not, but if you now put him and say, listen, you're the right guard, we're going to run the ball a lot, you're not going to be back in pass protection as much as you would be on most teams, you worry about just being a road grader, man.
Yeah.
Get out there. And I saw some videos that were put out there by the guy that does stuff on Bleeding Green Nation, Johnny something. He'll put film out on Twitter, and he could have put a couple pieces of film out where, like, he's hitting guys on the second level. He's tossing a defensive lineman, and then he sees a safety on a run play, and he goes right after the safety and tosses him. He actually looks a little bit like Becton did this year in some of the runs that I saw. But I mean, like when Becton came here, he was competing for a job. I didn't know if he was going to be any good. I look at this as the same thing. This is a ticket, a potential guy that could be a starter this year and could fit right in and be this big monster offensive lineman. They want these super big guys. They want these huge guys, and he fits the bill there. So I don't know if he can play. We're going to find out.
So I couldn't agree more with that. Obviously, they're looking at him as a reclamation product. My thought process on that is I would rather sign those type of players, like sign a Mekhi Becton that's a reclamation product, rather than give up a potential piece in CJGJ to go get one. Like that's where my confusion comes in. Like this seems like I'm not saying it is, and I've already said I'm going to stop my Howie hate, but this to me feels like an overthink Howie type, old Howie move where, yeah, it's like, oh, it works with the reclamation project, but like you didn't have to give up anything for Mekhi Becton. Giving up a CJGJ for a pick swap and getting a Mekhi and getting Green seems like a bit of a stretch to me. Like CJG is going to go right into their starting lineup, no questions asked. He's going to be an impact player for them. Him, Stingley, all those young players on the defense are going to be a problem.
For sure.
So, but for us, like we're taking the risk, and so I don't mind taking the risk. It's just giving up a player like of that caliber to take the risk seems a little off-putting to me.
I don't think there's anybody that's going to argue with you that they're a better team with CJGJ. He's excellent in coverage. He actually played the run really well. I can think of a number of stops that he made on third down, stopping the run. I mean, like they got to figure out the position. I know Sidney Brown's name's been put out there, and they like Sidney Brown. And like you saw,
I like Sidney Brown too.
Well, Sidney Brown looks like an old style strong safety to me. Looks like he's going to get beaten coverage if you put him out there too much. You need coverage safety these days, man. You don't need guys that want to play in the box and play the run. Yeah, he could be a part of a defense, and he's going to be given the opportunity to start. But the propaganda that was put out there, which was like, oh, well, they really like Sidney Brown. Say, like, this is the way I look at it. Vic Fangio. He has a lot of power in this organization. Look at the defense. Look at what he
transformed the whole defense. Yeah.
So if he wanted CJGJ back, he'd be back. So like you had said malcontent before. I mean, like the whole thing where Slay talked about Reed Blankenship stepping up as a leader. And he said that because it was on the leadership council, and CJGJ had a conniption, and AJ Brown then like Instagrams or tweets out like, what are we in high school? So like, I think it's pretty safe to say that this guy's tiring to deal with. He's been on 4 different teams in 4 years. And like they missed him on the field when he left. He's a really good 100%. Player. And he stayed healthy this year, which is something he wasn't able to do in previous years. They need to replace him. So they need to
I heard something along the lines, obviously nothing of serious sources, obviously, but that Fangio just was tired of him, like just tired of dealing with him sort of thing. And then obviously Justin Simmons comes out saying in a podcast that he would love to play for Fangio and the Eagles.
That he would.
So it's like obvious, and I'm sure, and everything I've ever heard about Justin Simmons is he's like one of the best guys in the locker room. So obviously, if you're going to ask Fangio who he would rather have, it's like, oh, if we trade CJGJ and get Justin Simmons, would you like that? He's going to be like, hell yeah. Obviously, I have no idea if that's the case, but it's like that was something that was floated around last year before he signed with the Falcons.
Yeah, Marcus Williams, who the Eagles were looking at hard a couple years ago when the Ravens signed him, he's been cut, so he's going to be available. There's guys that are out there. Maybe they use a draft pick. Maybe they wait till after the draft. I don't know. Like, this is where I have to give the benefit of the doubt to the Eagles and trust what they're going to do. Do people realize this is the best run of any team in the city's sports history?
Yes.
They've won 2 championships in 8 years. They've been to 3 Super Bowls.
The Flyers won back. The Flyers won back-to-back Stanley Cups.
Bro, that's I'm not talking about.
I'm kidding.
I'm not talking about BC. Not talking about before Christ.
I'm kidding. I'm 100% kidding.
When I talked about this earlier, I did throw out the Broad Street Bully of the 70s, but that's how far back you have to go, right? Think about this. The 76ers have been to 1 Eastern Conference Finals since 1983. Since they won the NBA title.
I was about to say in my lifetime, but that works.
No, but think about that. So 83, they win the title. 84, they lose to the Nets in the first round in 5 games. They've been to 1 Eastern Conference final since then. That's tough to do. That's over 40 years. The Eagles now have been 2 or 3. They've won the Super Bowls. They have a roster despite losing a bunch of good players. But so here's the other thing I'm saying, big picture about this, how everybody's mad at Howie and Jeffrey Lurie. Wasn't this what we've talked about since the Super Bowl was over? When we talked about free agency? Didn't we say Milton Williams he's outpriced himself and he's going to leave? Didn't we say that Josh Sweat was going to be gone? Didn't we say that Zach Bond was the priority? Everybody wanted to bring back Zach Bond, and we were okay if everybody else left. Why is everybody freaking out? Because Isaiah Rodgers left? Like, come on, give me a break.
Yeah, I think Isaiah Rodgers is a good auxiliary piece to have on a defense, but it's not like a make or break type move not bringing him back.
Yeah, like I didn't know what the Eagles were going to do with him. Right? It was an $8 million guarantee. It's a 2-year, $15 million contract with the Vikings, $8 million guaranteed. So it's really a 1-year deal. And if he's good, the Vikings will extend him and give him guaranteed money and give him a longer contract, right? Otherwise, they'll cut him and he'll be gone. So they're giving him the opportunity to be a starter. He started before. He started before he got suspended and he got released, right? So he has been a starter, at least a part-time starter in this league before. And when he filled in this year, I thought he was fine. I didn't think he was great, but he was fine.
Right? The way I look at those backup type players, if I'm not noticing you on the field, that's good. That's good. It's like great. That means you're not getting burnt. You're not getting torched. And okay, if you make a splash play, all the better. But if you don't, but as long as you avoid the negatives, that's all I'm looking for as my replacement players.
But are you going to pay him to be the starter? And the Eagles didn't want to.
Correct.
And even if it was like what we're learning right now is that they're not signing, like Burks leaves. That was only a $5 million contract for 2 years. Rodgers leaves. That was $7 million. They're clearly, they let Gainwell walk. I don't know what that contract was, but they're trying to save money where they can. And they look at Ringo and Isaiah Rodgers and they say, well, we drafted Ringo. He's not going to make $8 million this year. He's about the same player as Rod. We're going to go with him and we'll sign a veteran. Maybe we'll draft somebody. So, maybe they just thought Isaiah Rodgers was fine, but we're not paying him $8 million to come back. So,
and that,
I don't know. No.
I was going to say, like, in a week from now, we could potentially sign this year's Bond or, that type player. This year's Mekhi Becton when all the guys have been picked through, and then we start filling out players, and then obviously see what the draft brings, and you go from there. It's just see what happens. And then obviously there's still plenty of other times where players are going to get cut, and you have a chance to pick up other pieces down the line.
Where is Kevin put this out there, and it's a good point. Dallas Goedert. So this was, I guess it's something we should have seen coming. I know ESP has been saying this even before the Super Bowl. And to me, it was an informed opinion that there was some chatter that like, and also like Elliott, as much as people want to give shit Elliott, he pays attention to the details. When players don't have any more guaranteed money left and they're entering their final years of contracts, that's normally when teams make decisions, right? If you wanted to keep Dallas Goedert, you would lower the cap number. You would sign him to an extension. You would give him new money. And he wouldn't, I think he's $16 million against the cap or something like that this year, right? The Eagles aren't, they're not doing that. And I'm sure they would bring him back at what they felt like was the right price. And I'm sure Dallas Goedert is saying, no. There'll be interest for me out there on the market. So you can cut me and I'll go do that. The problem is, and I've seen this from a couple of different sources, that teams are saying, hey, we're interested, but you're going to have to come down in your contract demands because we're not giving up a fourth-round draft pick and giving you whatever it is, $10 million, $8 million, whatever it is a year, whatever he's trying to get. So I think the Dallas Goedert thing, this will go up to the draft, or if someone steps up and gives a draft pick up for him and can sign him to a new contract. Or the Eagles are leaning on him. Last year, they did this with Josh Sweat, and Josh Sweat took a pay cut to come back. Now he's a free agent. So maybe Goddard says, okay, I'll reduce my cap hit. I'll take half the amount of money that I'm owed, and then I'm on a one-year contract, a one-year prove-it contract. So I think there's a better chance Goddard's gone than he comes back, just because if I was another team, I would value him. I think he has potential to be top 5 tight end. Can't stay healthy. But, yeah, I think there's a better chance he's gone than he's not.
I'm with Kevin that I will say that one will hurt. Just because I love him as a player and I love him on the team. And I do think he brings a different element to
look at the playoffs, man.
It's just like, the first game back from his injury in week 18 and the whole run through the playoffs pretty much.
The stiff arm against the Packers. He just shoved the guy for 20 yards and went in.
And there's not many tight ends in this league that can run block like he does and do what he does as a weapon on top of it. It's like there might be 3 tight ends that can play to his type of level or no, he plays to that type of level.
He's a monster if he's healthy. And you've seen it, right? It's a matter of not staying healthy, and he enters that age. I think the problem with the Eagles is they haven't drafted his replacement. We saw them do this with Zach Ertz. The writing was on the wall. Zach didn't handle it very well. But, the writing was on the wall for this, and then Dallas became the guy. Now Dallas is Zach Ertz. And
I feel like they didn't give him as much. I don't feel like they didn't give him as much leash as they gave Ertz, though. Ertz. I feel like Ertz had to be farther player. Ertz had to be farther into his career than Goddard was.
Yeah, Ertz the better player.
You think?
He stays healthy. But Dallas Goedert's a monster in the run game. Right. He's a run blocker, which is
all right. Player in their prime, Ertz or Goddard. Who are you taking?
Ertz had over 100 catches.
Yeah, but it's like I don't know. It's like I feel like Goddard fits. All right, I guess it's different. I'm thinking about it in terms of this offense, like the way it works. It's where Ertz was in a way more pass happy offense.
Way more.
So
yeah. No, way more. I mean, they're different players, right? Like Dallas Goedert all around, but you just look at the
and by all means, I'm not trying to be disparaging of Zach Ertz. I think Zach Ertz is awesome, but I would take Goddard personally.
How many yards do you think Dallas Goedert's best season was?
800.
830. So his best season was he had 58 catches. He had 56 catches for 830 yards. He had 59 catches for 592 yards. Last 3 seasons, he played 12 games, 14 games, and 10 games this past year. So he's missing time. He is 30 years old. He's 30 years old. So I would have liked to see him come back for another year because they're a better team with Dallas Goedert than without. But if they're not utilizing him because they have Saquon Barkley and Jalen Hurts and they have 2 wide receivers, is he worth the money to bring back? I mean, I look at it, I'm like, listen, you're a better team with him without, but Darius Slay, I think you're a better team with Darius Slay, and he's with Pittsburgh now. So,
well, you say that though, like, you have these mouths to feed, but how many teams only have 3 players that touch the ball? There's not many.
Well, there's also not a replacement on the roster.
That's what I'm saying.
Which is a problem.
If you drafted a guy like Brock Bowers last year in the first round, and something like that, and you were like, all right, see you, Goddard. Like, then by all means, that makes 100%.
They're eyeing a tight end in the draft.
There are a few that are like definitely first round worthy.
So I don't know his name yet, but the head coach at Bowling Green left to be the Eagles quarterback coach. Okay. Was it Eddie George that took that job? I think it was Eddie George that took that job at Bowling Green.
At Bowling Green, really?
Yeah. Yep.
Missed that one.
This past week, Eddie George was at Bowling Green. Let me see. But anyway, so the tight end that played for this dude, Bowling Green. So the tight end that played at Bowling Green this year for the Eagles' new quarterback. Isn't it crazy that a head coach at Bowling Green is now leaving the head coaching job, and he did a good job too, and is becoming not only an assistant coach but a quarterbacks coach. But if you look at the NFL, the quarterback coach, it's in slow motion. The quarterbacks coach then moves to be an offensive coordinator, then moves to be a head coach. Now, this guy's like 50 years old, but hold on, Bowling Green tight end.
Boston College's coach did that last year and went to be Green Bay's DC.
Yep.
Well, and when a lot of guys started doing that last year, there was a lot of and same thing with like Chip Kelly coming back, leaving UCLA
to be an offensive coordinator. Yep.
Right. Well, so a lot of guys were talking about how with this new NIL, all that BS, that these coaches just don't want to deal with it anymore. So it's like, why? And if you're a head coach at Bowling Green and you actually find a bunch of good players, and then it's just like, oh, Alabama just offered me money. Oh, this person, got it. Just go to the NFL and make your money.
You don't have to with the NILs, that kills these smaller schools, right? So you go to the NFL. Now you're with the Eagles. You can work your way up, being an offensive coordinator in the NFL. Harold Fannin Jr. is his name, Delco Steve.
I just pulled it up,
117 receptions for 1,555 yards and 10 touchdowns this year.
Woo! He's 6'3", 241.
In his last game against the Arkansas State Red Wolves, he had 17 catches for 213 yards and a touchdown. I want this guy. I want him. So
I'll take any of the top 3. Loveland from Michigan is a stud, and then obviously we know about Warren from Penn State.
You're not going to get him. He's going to go in the top 15.
The last thing I saw had him at like 22 or something like that.
Hey, if he's there, awesome.
Obviously, it's a long stretch to 32, but I'm all about trading up for the guys you want.
Yep. So a lot of people checking in about Simmons. Yep. I'm all in. And he's begging for it. He's begging to come here. All in.
Yep. Ray J finally made a good point on that.
Ray J's been good tonight. Ray J in the chat has been good tonight. I appreciate it. Yeah, he is begging for a job, Justin Simmons. But also, and then someone else said that he'll dominate in Philly for 2 or 3 years. He's like a 1-year guy at this point, isn't he?
Yeah. I mean, I thought he was fine last year for the Falcons, but that team was just
right. And he's also a free agent again, looking for a new team. So towards the end of careers, this is what guys do. They bounce around a little bit. They go to a place for a year or two, and then they find their next place until they're out of the league.
I'm not going to say no to him if he comes in on a $4 million, $5 million contract.
Yeah, for sure. No, I'm in. I was looking for another comment that somebody had here on, I think it was AJ Dillon. Oh, it's Philly Sports Pride. I'm acting like he's only 26. I'm acting like he's 35.
That's 35 in running back years.
It really is. AJ Dillon's closer to being out of the league than being a starting running back. How about that? I think
he had so many chances to be a part of that Packers offense. Like Aaron Jones got hurt all the time in the years that Aaron Jones was on the Packers, and every time I can tell you because it affected me personally. Because every time Aaron Jones went out, I was like, AJ Dillon. Like, I would draft AJ Dillon in the 10th round, being like, I know AJ Brown's gonna miss, or not AJ Brown. What? Oh my God. Aaron Jones is gonna miss time. So I would be like, I'm gonna plug in AJ Dillon. And I guarantee you I lost every single one of those matchups because I relied on AJ Dillon.
Yeah, I've had him. He was a waiver wire pickup, and he gave me like a couple yards. And then that was
and that's, I guarantee someone will be like in here and be like, oh, but I had him that one game, he scored 3 touchdowns. It's like, okay, great. Well, when he trashed my team 3 weeks in a row, I wasn't going to start him the week that he scored 3 touchdowns. My bad.
Yeah. Like, whatever. We'll see if he makes the team. All right. So here's the name. Miles Sanders. We're not going to sign him now. He just signed AJ Dillon.
I'm so good on Miles Sanders.
Yeah, let him go be a backup somewhere else.
I don't need him to relive his Penn State days of sitting on the bench behind Saquon Barkley.
Oh, maybe that would actually work. Yeah, no, I'm good on Miles Sanders. The Eagles are going to have to sign a.
I would have taken Rico Dowd. I think that dude. I think he's pretty good.
It's like $6 million.
Is that what he got? I didn't say it.
5 or 6. Well, no. So it said up to, which is BS. Anytime you see up to, that's just the agent shining it. He probably got $3 million with incentives and things like that. No, he's good. I agree with you. That's a good signing. So the Eagles are going to need to sign some defensive linemen. We talked about Milton Williams, Josh Sweat's going to Arizona. Again, no surprise with really any of these moves other than CJGJ. Becton is still available. I can't imagine he's coming back. He hasn't signed yet, though. And normally guys that sign the big money contracts sign them right away. So you can tell either he priced himself too high and they're waiting for him to come down, or the market really wasn't there for him. So, like, is he going to get $10 million a year now? Are teams still interested in him? The Colts were connected to him.
I'm surprised a team like the Bears didn't take a run at him, in all honesty.
But they filled their holes via trade, and they traded for Tooney, and they traded for somebody else too. So
Jackson I believe from the Rams, I think is his last name.
Yes.
Something with a J, Jackson or Johnson.
Who was horrible last year, and the Rams were able to get rid of him after 1 year. And he's making a lot of money. So
yeah, he's making like $18 million a year or something like that.
Yep. It's crazy. Like, one of my takeaways from the initial burst of free agency is, wow, man, like Jalen Carter's going to make $35 a year.
You're lucky if Jalen Carter's making $35 million a year. Well, because we were talking about last week with Milton. Milton Williams. That what we were I've been trying to remember the guy from Dallas that signed the.
I don't know how to pronounce his name. Yeah, 4 for 80.
Right. When we were talking about that last week, you were saying like he's probably going to sign around that. I'm like, I think it's going to be like 22, 23 because he's a free agent. Well, I saw that 26. Like, that's why I texted you right away. I'm like, I couldn't believe that number. And then obviously I'll take the L on Myles Garrett. He signs for $40 million a year. I mean, Carter's up next year. It's probably going to be closer to that than it's going to be
no. So this was his second year. So
I'm saying, he's eligible for a contract after next year.
Sure. And so you're going to be able to and you'll just extend him. So he's under club control for 3 more years. So it's not bad yet, but like, are you keeping Jordan Davis? I can't imagine you're going to pay Jordan Davis $20 million a year.
No.
Plus, unless he starts doing something different.
Right. That's what I was saying to you last week when I was doing the hypothetical throw him in a trade for Myles Garrett. Like, you pay a D end and a D tackle that kind of money. Great. You're not going to pay 2 D tackles kind of money.
Not I mean, unless he's a difference maker, and he's not.
Right. Like if you were signing Aaron Jones and putting him next to Jalen Carter, great. Like, yeah, or Aaron Donald. I said Aaron Jones. I combined 2 D tackles there, but it's like, yeah, if you sign someone like that and you pair them together, great. Pay them $80 million combined. They're going to wreak freaking havoc.
Yep.
But it's like, would you pay Milton Williams 26 and Jalen Carter 35?
No, of
Absolutely
course not. No, you can't do that because Nolan Smith, you need ends. Who are your ends on this team?
Like, quite literally.
Jalix Hunt and Nolan Smith, who are going to need contracts, right? Nolan Smith looks like he could be a potential Pro Bowl type player. He's going to get paid. If Josh Sweat's getting $18 million a year, what the hell's Nolan Smith going to get if he continues to ascend like this?
Correct.
Right? Like Quinyon Mitchell, J.C. Horn, who hadn't been able to stay healthy for the first half of his career, first couple seasons of his career.
$100 million.
Yeah.
highest paid corner.
What Cooper DeJean, you don't get the 5th year with him because he's a 2nd-round draft pick.
Yep.
So now Cooper DeJean's going to be a free agent earlier than Quinyon Mitchell is. These guys are going to get paid, man. So Howie Roseman and his staff need to replace these players. He's done such a great job. They've done such a great job the last 3 years in drafting guys. These are the stars right now on defense. They're young players. So now, like, can Trotz step in? They're going to sign a veteran linebacker, I'm sure, just like they did Zach Bond. They're going to sign some veterans. Howie has done very well, especially when they've been successful. He's done a great job of finding the diamond in the rough that works for a year or works going forward. Patrick Robinson in 2017 played a great role, a huge role as a nickel corner. Zach Bond was a top 5 defensive player last year in the league.
Literally.
Mekhi Becton was a great player. Now, like Bryce Huff wasn't. But he's
was he the most got the most money and had the worst outcome?
Well, if you think about this, Devin White was he was guaranteed $4 million. They released him in October. He got cut October 8th because he got beat out. Remember in training camp, it was like everybody just assumed Devin White because of the name, former Pro Bowler, won a Super Bowl, and like this Zach Bond guy, all you kept hearing in training camp was Zach Bond. Oh, well, he's going to be an edge rusher. No, they're trying him off the ball. Zach Bond. And then he wins the job and he never looked back and he's an all-pro. So, like, is that luck? Is that development? Is that a little bit everything? Yeah. But he still had 2 misses. Devin White was a bad miss. Bryce Huff was a bad miss. But when you have so many hits, it takes care of those misses. So, like, they're gonna have to hit on the replacements for some of these guys. They lost a bunch of players on defense. No doubt about it. They got to replace them. And, you know, like,
I mean, I don't think they've really lost, minus CGJG. I don't think they've really lost anything that's like, holy crap. Like, how are we going to replace that? You know what I mean? It's like, I think Williams is a good player. I think Sweat's a good player, but they're not irreplaceable pieces. Like
No.
You could draft someone, like you drafted Williams in the 3rd round. You could draft another 3rd round D tackle that can be a rotational player.
Sweat got a 2nd contract from the Eagles. It's not often that guys get 3 contracts. He wasn't getting a 3rd contract. I don't think it's worth it. He's a guy.
Right, and he almost didn't make it through the 2nd contract either.
No, they made him take a pay cut. Like, bad organizations signed Josh Sweat. Bad organizations signed Milton Williams because they have the available cap space and they have a need for players. If you draft well, which is what the Eagles have done, you don't need to go out and overpay. That friggin' Chip Kelly, Byron Maxwell, because you needed a corner so bad, so you went out and you reached on a bad player. Milton Williams isn't a bad player, but like that's what you do when you get desperate because you need players on your team. So Milton Williams he's bust free as far as I'm concerned, but like, yeah, $26 million a year.
5.5 sacks is your career high as a rotational player. Like, I mean, yeah, it's impressive as a rotational player, but still, he's making more than Chris Jones.
Yes, he sure is.
Like,
yeah, like they don't have to be the number 1 defense next year to be a successful defense, right? Like being a top defense back-to-back years. I mean, they still have impact players. Their impact players are Cooper DeJean, Mitchell. CJGJ was Bond. CJGJ was 100% an impact player.
Yeah, they have impact players at every level of the defense between Jalen Carter, Bond, and the 2 rookies from last year. And not many defenses in this league can say that.
By the way, I think Ojomo can step in and be just as good of a player as Milton Williams.
Yeah.
He showed last year. He showed last year, man. He was good.
Every time he was on the field, you noticed him for the good reasons.
Yep. In the playoffs, too.
Yep.
He had as many snaps as Jordan Davis did last year. 37% of the snaps. So those 2 guys
who's that more?
I
was going to say, who does that say more about?
Jordan Davis. Yeah, he wasn't in there on passing downs. The potential's still there for Jordan Davis. That's why the Eagles are probably, I mean, I don't know. If they pick up his 5th-year option, that's a bargain as opposed to saying we're not going to pick it up and then maybe we'll try to sign you via free agency. It's almost worth it just to pick up the option just because it's not that much. But I mean, everybody's getting paid $20+ million.
And then you could put I'm not even sure how that works with trading a player that has their 5th-year option picked up. Is that because that's a fully Well, it's a fully guaranteed 5th year, so I don't know how that ramifications go towards the cap hit.
It depends. Like they have to decide whether they're picking it up. I think it's by May 1st.
Right.
It doesn't guarantee the contract. It only guarantees it against injury. So they can essentially rescind it if they want to. And then there's another date where it's not, then it's just completely guaranteed.
You're right. You're 100% right.
So I'm assuming by May 1st, they're going to pick up the option, and then that just protects him against injury.
Well, my point being is that even if you pick it up and he doesn't pan out the way you want, somebody would, like you said, it's still a bargain number when you just see what people got for D tackles. All right, if you throw a 6th-round pick to us next year for Jordan Davis going into his 5th year option, it's a team will probably do that.
Yeah, I mean, he's still like 6'8", 380 pounds. It's not like that he doesn't have
He was on the younger side too coming out, wasn't he?
He is. Yeah, he is. Oh, he's 25. He'll be 26 in January.
Oh wow, I'm surprised he's that old actually.
Yeah, the kid they traded for Green, he's really young. He came in the NFL at 20.
Okay. I thought that was Jordan Davis too for some reason.
I don't remember. Well,
but obviously not.
He's got an opportunity this year to make himself a lot of money. I mean, he's going to make himself a lot of money regardless because of the size and the athleticism.
Correct.
But he could put himself in the $25 million to $30 million camp. But he's got to be able to get more pressure on the quarterback.
Yeah, you can't just be a run stuffing D tackle
that plays 35% of the snaps.
I was about to say something stupid and be like Vita Vea, but I'm like, oh wait, never mind. That dude just eats quarterbacks too.
So what else with free agency? Gainwell's gone, which I'm fine with Gainwell. I'm fine with him leaving too. I like of all the moves that disappointed me the most, and like CGJG, I was disappointed because he's a good player. I understand it,
and it was a shock value thing too. You never you're sitting there expecting your team to be signing players, and obviously knowing the players are gonna be losing, to then get blasted with something you didn't even think was coming is also just throws you off kilter.
Oren Burks leaving, I was disappointed. Maybe that's like too fanboy thing. But I thought he looked really good, and he didn't sign a big contract.
It's like I remember watching the Falcons game week 2 when I was there, and I just was like, I looked at like Erica's dad. I'm like, who is this guy? I've never even heard of him in training camp. And I'm like, every play I was like, that dude is literally hitting the ball every snap. And it was just like, yeah, he's a good player, but like, I'm not gonna sit here and be like, darn, there's one that got away.
Yeah, but here's why, because Nakobe Dean's not gonna be ready to start the season. I haven't looked at his medical files or anything like that, but from what everybody says, it's gonna be hard for him to be healthy to start the season. So now you're gonna have to sign a linebacker. Jeremiah Trotter Jr. is gonna be in the mix, whatever. Like, that's fine. I just like what I saw from him.
Oh yeah,
he had to see more.
Great motor.
Yep.
Like I never saw him not like giving 110 the entire time he was on the field.
Yep. Ben Van Summeren comes back. He's now being looked at as a fullback.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I remember the first time he popped up on FanDuel for anytime touchdown. I was just like, why is he there? Because I had no idea they were playing him at fullback. And then I like went and looked and I was just like, oh, like that seems odd, but okay. For a team that never uses a fullback anyway.
So so Slay gets released. It's a 1-year, $10 million contract.
Yep.
If it would,
I would have did that.
I think for 8, the Eagles, well, actually, I don't know. But like the Eagles were obviously interested in keeping him. They weren't going to go to $10 million. I think it's a good. Pittsburgh appears to be all in and trying to win this year. Now they're going to have to pay Aaron Rodgers. But getting DK Metcalf, that is not characteristic of a Pittsburgh Steelers team. Going out and giving Slay a 1-year contract, he's going to be very good. I still think he's a good corner. So he's above average corner in the league. So
I'm not saying he's the shutdown corner he once was, but
no.
But it's just like he can still go out there and play. What did you think of DK Metcalf return? I thought that was a little light.
I think the Steelers got a bargain. Now the problem is they don't have a quarterback yet. No, I look at DK Metcalf as a AJ Brown type. Did I say this last week?
No.
Yeah, I look at him like AJ Brown. He's been suffering in Seattle because of Geno Smith. And if he goes to a team that like Aaron Rodgers and DK Metcalf, even for 1 year, could be dangerous. DK Metcalf is a stud. Yeah. He is a monster. He's a beast. He's got great speed. He's jacked. He's huge. If like
that picture of him and AJ Brown is nuts.
Right, like he's like an AJ Brown. I know New England was sniffing around. He didn't want to go to New England like a lot of other players. I think it's a really good move for Pittsburgh. They gave up a second round draft pick and they got another draft pick back or whatever. I thought it was a good move by him.
I just can't believe he did. Like, I'm not saying he was AJ Brown return level trade, but like I thought a second round was light as hell. Like
me too.
If you like second, third, second, fourth, something, I don't know, whatever. I mean, I guess it just kind of at that point it just gets to like why. But at the same time, I definitely thought like if you told me I didn't have receivers on my team and that was all the like
I'd be so excited. Yeah,
it's just like
now you had to pay him $30 million a year,
which I think he's worth that.
Yep.
Like I'm not going to question that, but but it's also like redundant because him and Pickens are like the same exact wide receiver.
Yep, you're right. Yep.
I can't. I'll be surprised if Pickens lasts on that roster past draft night.
Yeah, you would. I would guess that they move him, but I mean, maybe not. Who the hell knows? I don't know.
I mean, he seems like a head case.
Well, he's a pain in the ass. He would have been a first round draft pick if he didn't have a reputation, right? Yeah. And you just saw like, and you look at Mike Tomlin, and it's like, all right, Tomlin normally is very good with players that have reputations, right? And Pickens has been a real pain in the ass. So, so now you have DK Metcalf. I think it's a good move for him. Oh, and then speaking of the Steelers, let's pour one out for Kenny Pickett, former Steeler quarterback, now former Eagles quarterback. It's I don't know why I dislike Kenny Pickett as much as I do.
Oh, I can't stand him.
I just nothing personal against him. I'm sure he's a nice guy, but like I just don't ever want to see him. I don't want to see him play at all anywhere.
I just like don't understand how you cry your way out. Like you just cried your way out of his potential starting job to be the backup of your hometown team. Like that made no sense to me. Like you would have rather have been straight up in the backup for the Eagles than compete for a starting job with the Steelers. That makes no sense to me.
Well, that's somebody that knows he's not good enough. So he blames them instead of saying like, hey, this is
fine,
my
whatever.
job. You're not
but that means it's 100% means I don't want you on my team.
I agree. Like, I know. I didn't want him here.
Yeah. And
horrible.
I think Tanner McKee is going to show him up right away as the backup quarterback.
You're damn right. Oh yeah, believe me. The Eagles and so the Eagles save some money. Again, they're cutting some money at the margins. They save some money. McKee's not making a lot of money. They get Dorian Thompson-Robinson, DTR, as a potential third string practice squad guy. We'll see if they carry a third quarterback, but like he's fine as an emergency guy or whatever.
And he's also the same like where Pickett and McGee are opposite from Jalen Hurts' skills. Yes. You have a guy that if you get, like, God forbid you get to your third option, you could still kind of not the same offense, but it's still a running offense with a quarterback that can run the ball.
Sure is.
So, yeah. I mean, I had a couple of people say to me like, oh, he sucks. I'm like, well, yeah, like, no shit. Like, it's like, but like, he's the third quarterback that can run. Like, I don't care. It's like, fine.
He may not even make the team. It's like having a long discussion on AJ Dillon. I don't even know if he has how much guaranteed money he has. This could be Rashad Penny all over again. Maybe he's better than that. I don't know.
It's like freaking DTR was what, a 5th round pick? He's not making shit.
He's not making any money. Yeah, he hasn't been. He's been rostered. I thought he was on the practice squad, but he's not. But yeah, like
he kept starting games, and it was just like, and he would just get murdered. It was ridiculous.
He sure did. I remember watching him because I was watching UCLA and Chip because I was rooting against Chip, and when he had DTR as his quarterback, they weren't bad because he's really good. Right? He's a college quarterback. He's a pro backup. He's fine.
And he was like the same guys as like a Matt Barkley, where if he came out the year earlier, he would have got drafted higher.
Yep.
So
he's a 5th round pick.
Yeah.
From Bishop Gorman, a powerhouse in Las Vegas is where he's from. All right. So we pour one out for Kenny Pickett. Have fun not being a starter in Cleveland or being a bad starter in Cleveland. So I think they draft They draft a quarterback, Cleveland.
Yeah, at 2.
Yeah. All this talk that Cam Ward's not going to go 1 and Shador Sanders is going to slide. Every freaking year, everybody does this. All the analysts do it. They're like, oh, well, I only have 1 quarterback in the first round. Like, you guys are on drugs.
Yeah,
And
there was only 3 last year, and there were 6 in the first 12 picks.
It's unbelievable. Yeah, like every year, Bo Nix was going to be a second-round draft pick. Michael Penix is going to be a second-round draft pick. These guys go top 15. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable.
I mean, I don't know. I have a hard time with the Titans because I literally have no idea what they're doing as a direction of a franchise. But I think more than likely a team like the Giants overpays like crazy to go get Cam Ward because what is it, Shohine or Shoin or however you say the GM's name in New York? What the hell does he have to lose? He trades everything up. He trades a ton of picks to go get Cam Ward. If it looks like it's good, he buys himself some time. If it's a disaster, he's getting fired either way.
But that's the thing. It's like, do they believe Cam? Because if you believe Cam Ward is your franchise quarterback, it doesn't matter what the Giants want to throw at you. Like, unless they're like, talking about 5 draft picks.
For the Titans' perspective.
Yeah, right. And I'll say this, and I saw Cam Ward play enough last year at Miami. I never saw him play before that. And you look at his numbers consistently, and he went to 3 colleges. He does not intercept the ball. He does not throw interceptions. He has high touchdown to interceptions ratio. But one of the knocks on him is that he never gives up the plays. And you do that in the NFL, you're gonna turn the ball over. He got away with it in college, but like you just have to live to see another play. And he puts the ball at risk, even though you look at the touchdown to interceptions ratios. But I saw Lou Riddick say about him that because he's played so much ball, it's a lot like Jaden Daniels. Ward came in. Daniels played a lot of college football. So is he. So he could come in and be ready to start right away with his experience. And Lou Riddick really likes him. So,
well, they talk about that, like even in this age where quarterbacks get drafted and get rushed into being the starter. The guys that start the most games in college are always more prepared for the NFL. Like everyone, like you just said, like everyone just shit on Bo Nix last year. I'm not saying he was a world beater, but him and Jaden Daniels are like two of the only 2 quarterbacks in the history of the NFL to put up the stats that they put up last year.
He was prepared. Bo Nix was prepared. Absolutely.
And I'm obviously not going to sit here and say that Bo Nix has the same ceiling as a Caleb Williams or an Anthony Richardson or even Jaden Daniels, but it's like he probably has a way higher floor than a lot of those guys.
Might be better. Look at the year he had last year.
Yeah. I love Anthony Richardson as a talent, but the dude can't stay healthy. He's played like maybe he's 25 games as a starter since high school.
They're already out on him. Indianapolis.
They signed Daniel Jones, for God's sakes,
for pretty big money for 1 year. Yeah, they're out on him. They're out on him. Well, remember, he tapped out because he was tired.
Oh, dude. I had him for 2 touchdowns that game. Oh. And I'm like, how are you going to leave the field on the 5-yard line?
It's the first quarterback ever that wasn't hurt. He was tired and he tapped out like he was a wide receiver.
And then said it like, yeah, that made sense. Like, oh my God.
He can't admit to it. He can't admit to it.
No, 100%. Just be like, I twisted my ankle and I thought it was like, I'm good. Like, whatever. Something.
Yeah.
The point being is, like, college starts matter. Like, there's a lot of evidence that proves it that those guys are more set up to succeed.
He's a 5-year starter, Cam Ward.
Yep.
I guess he got that extra COVID year.
Eastern Washington. Then what was in between?
He was at I gotta look it up right now. Where did he? Washington State University, and then
that was where he went before Miami, right?
Correct. No, I think that was his. No, he's in Incarnate Word.
Oh, that's what it was. That isn't that the made up school?
No, that was Bishop. Oh, that was awesome, right? Those poor kids are living in like a crack house motel. There's no school.
Didn't they got ran up like 80-0 or something, like on a national televised game or something?
It was on ESPN. Fake high school football team. It was Bishop something. It's not Bishop Gordon. Bishop Sycamore.
That sounds made up.
Yeah, but they were playing like what's the academy down in Florida where it's really like a prep school.
Yeah. I don't. Oh my God.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yes, I know exactly.
Trey Thomas's son went there. Trey was down there coaching for a while. The prep school, Florida. What's it called? Anyway, yeah, they played them. Anyway, that's where it was 89.
89-0.
Bishop Eustace. Not Bishop Sanahan. No, not Bishop Eustace. That's the jersey. What did I just say it was? Bishop Sycamore. Yeah, Bishop Sycamore. Oh, it's awesome. Yep, they played the IMG Academy football game on ESPN, the high school kickoff series.
How does ESPN not figure that out?
They didn't know. They didn't know anything about it yet.
But I'm just saying, like, isn't that like something you would expect someone to be like? If you're airing a high school football game, don't you think how did they even play that academy? Like that's
I don't know.
Like there's so many levels to this that doesn't make sense to me.
Correct. All right. Well, listen, we will see. We'll see what the Eagles do from here. It seems like that it's going to be a waiting game. Now, there was a lot of talk that maybe that Howie had something big that was cooked up, maybe a Trey Hendrickson trade, which would make sense. They need an edge rusher.
Oh, you'll support that, but you won't support the Myles Garrett trade thought process.
What are you giving up?
What are you giving up for Hendricks?
With the Bengals, they might give him away for a second. Who knows with those losers? You know what I mean?
Send us your old fax machine. Ours died.
So Bryce Huff. So yeah, Bryce Huff's a really good player. You can see how he's scamming these two. Probably have to give up a first.
How about Bryce Huff and a 3rd round pick, and you give us Hendricks?
This year's first.
Oh yeah, I would do. Oh, I would trade this year's first for a lot of things because
he is 30.
I mean, 32 like that. Using 32 for a draft pick, I actually think it's kind of like the same year when we won the first Super Bowl, where we traded that pick to the Ravens because they wanted to get Lamar on the 5th-year option,
and they did.
So it's just like I feel like that pick's like more valuable as a trade asset to a team coming up because the guy that they're trying to get is someone they want to have as a 5th-year option.
But imagine you could have Cooper DeJean on a 5th-year option right now. Like it works both ways. You sometimes you want that 5th-year option, sometimes you don't. And you don't even want the opportunity to do it. You'd rather just have it be free agency or whatever. But yeah, we'll see, man. I would definitely trade that 1st-round draft pick for an established player. And Hendricks, he's had 17.5 sacks the last 2 years.
He's got the most sacks the last 2 years combined.
35 for the last 2 years. So he is 30. But for a 2 or 3 year window, dude, I'm in.
He also was like the guy that boomed late in his career. So he wasn't
New Orleans. He was at New Orleans for 4 or 5 years.
Right. So yeah. So he had he had a good year his last year in his contract year with the Saints. And that's what got him the okay, now in hindsight being the okay deal he got with the Bengals. And then obviously he kept ascending from there. So he was a rotational player earlier in his career. He probably wasn't taking all those hits and, getting beat up. So it's not like it's a 30-year-old where it's J.J. Watt where he played 100% of the snaps. Not that J.J. Watt played 100% of the snaps. You get what I'm saying? Like his entire career.
Yeah, sure. The body's not broken down as much.
Correct.
All right. Well, Delco Steve, I don't know what's going to happen in the next week.
I was about to say, it's time to feed some ducks.
Yeah, it's time to feed some ducks. This light's burning my eyes up.
You look great, if that matters. If that makes you feel any better.
It does look good, man. It does. Now, I had it on a table, but I wasn't comfortable sitting down so low, so I'm back up at the bar. But this shot actually works. So if I can get some stuff behind me, which I have, don't look bad.
No, I think it looks a million times better than the last few.
Oh my God, it was terrible. Yeah, it was terrible. It's 100%.
Nothing will top the piano though.
Yeah, people still ask about the piano.
Piano's a 1-seat background.
Well,
maybe you should print out that just that picture and just
hang it on the wall.
Just like frame it and hang it on the wall.
All right, man. Have a good week. How's Erica? How many weeks are we?
22 yesterday.
When do you set up the nursery? When does all that stuff happen? When do you get the furniture?
Nursery's like the room's ready. Except I got. She wants to do an accent wall, so I'm gonna paint an accent wall. So that's all I have to do for room wise. Furniture comes in like 3 weeks, I think.
All right.
And then I'll start, getting through it at that point.
Did you go to that place in Broomall?
Carter's or no?
I think it's called Bye Bye Baby.
Yeah, her mom and her went, and they went. Yeah, they went somewhere over that way.
Yeah,
I'm not positive.
That's where we got all our baby furniture.
I have not been involved. I've not been involved in the process of these decisions because I'm just like, whatever you think is the best and makes you happy, you know this stuff a million times more than me.
But you got to be involved in the decision.
Well, she's like, wait, do you like this one or this one? I pick one.
Right.
Right. Yeah, but like for the technicalities of it, she knows the functioning of these things way better than I do.
Well, as long as she doesn't get mad that you're like you don't care about it.
No, it's not that I don't. It's 100% not that I don't care. I just know she knows what she's talking about, and I do not. So I'm not going to sit here and act like I know what I'm talking about.
All right. Well, as long as she doesn't care, I wouldn't care either. You're good.
No, we're all on the same page.
All right, good. All right, everybody. I'm back tomorrow at 8 a.m. live on PHLY. Talk to you then. See you, Steve.